Alright, so what we're going to need for our supplies. I've got my little round loom. It's got a little peg on the side where you can hold it when you're knitting. 12 pegs. It's going to make this little guy here. I have a really nice knitter that I use. It's all plastic. I got it in one of my purchases when I bought the looms. It was in there and it's the only one I use. This one, as you can see, it's a needle for the end for knitting it together. It's well used, a little warped, but I like it. And my handy dandy scissors. You can use, there are other knitters that you can use and other needles. Like this is a metal needle. It's got a bigger eye. You can see that there. I don't use that one as much. And then we've got a really big one if you're working with larger projects or thicker wool. I don't use those. I have them. I use them very rarely. And then, of course, this is a standard knit tool. It's kind of rubbery, and then you've got your metal. I find when I'm using this, my hand heats up, and then it starts to get hot, and then this actually starts to bend. And then what happens in the middle, it gets so hot it starts to bend, it cracks, and then it breaks inside, so it's wobbly, so I can't use it. I have them, don't use them very often. I do prefer this one, all plastic. So if you can find something like this, it's nice, fits in your hand, and it's really quite nice. I'll put my needle away, and of course, always need a measuring tool when you're measuring. This was the other top for that little gadget. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got 6 pegs, so you can make bigger things, bigger, rounder things for whatever you want to use it for. So I just wanted to show that to you. Alright, and those needles, they come in packs of 2. This is a loop and threads. It's a Knit Quick, plastic needles. So I'm not being sponsored or anything, but that's basically what I use. So we're going to get to the beginning. So I'm going to use my orange thread here. Let me move a few things out of the way. I don't need them right now, so we'll move the scissors. Must be careful. So what we have left is that, your knit hook tool, and your thread. So what I do, you can take it from the top or from around here. It doesn't matter. Whatever you prefer. I like to pull it from the top sometimes because it just comes right out. So I like to unravel quite a bit, just so I have it. So if you've got cats, just beware when you're knitting. They might be a little curious as to what you have in your hand and what is flopping all over the place. So I just put this beside me. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to try this so you can see what I'm doing here. If I can do this right, what I do is I make a loop. Now I'm a lefty, so this is going to be a little hard for me to show all you righties, but I make a left. So I'm taking this, bringing it around, so there's a loop. Let me move that. And then what I do, I put it through that loop and pull, grab both sides of the yarn. Do you see this little loop now? Right? It tightens. Then I take my, you see how I tightened on that? You can probably pull depending on which other side. I always leave a little length just in case, so that can just go there. So now I'm going to move my camera so you can see if I can. I've never really let me see if I can show you how to do this here. Trying to zoom out so we can get a good look here. Move that string out of the way. Take your yarn. Now what you're going to do, you are going to thread it on to your pegs, which is simply, not, like I said, I'm a lefty, so you can go left or you can go to the right. And I'm going to wrap. Not too tight, just wrap. See how I'm wrapping that? I'm going to wrap all these pegs. Just let it flow through your fingers. And when you get to the end, what I do is I do a little turn, little twist. I put it on the peg. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push these down. And you can do this anyway, inside, outside. Okay. Now I'm going to take that loop once again. I'm going to, a couple things you can do. You can do an E-wrap just to make the bottom. This is called casting on. So if you haven't knitted before, this is casting on. So now I'm just going to use a basic E-wrap to cast on. You could use a U-wrap. Doesn't matter. The U-wrap is a little different from the E-wrap. The E-wrap, you are wrapping around like that. Okay. With the U-wrap, you're bringing, make sure that's wrapped. You're bringing it in front and halfway. See that? And then you're knitting it. So I'll do the easy way first for everyone. We'll do a basic E-wrap. Okay? Try and make this so you can see it so it's not fuzzy on the camera. And I'm going to wrap. And I'm going to wrap. I use my thumb. I always have my thumb handy. And as I'm wrapping, I'm turning this little loom around to the last peg. Then again, I just like to hold it and do a little, and that way it'll secure it. So, as you can see, let me just show you. See how it's wrapped now? Okay. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take this lovely little tool and we're going to do our cast on. So what we're going to use this sharp little end. You're going to take that, you're going to pull it over top like that. Okay, do it again. Take the bottom, simply pull it over top. And you see how that just flipped out? You can just like that. And you do that for your first row. This is your cast on row. This is what starts the project. Now, I may use my thumb sometimes, just if I think the thread is going to go over, because then you would lose a stitch. So, and you see how it tightens there? You see how that tightens on that side? See if I can get this less blurry for you. I'm trying to focus in on that. Okay, there. See how that's doing that? You're getting to the last one. Then I push it down. You can use it, do that in the front. Just take it, push it down, just like that. So it's on the bottom. So you have done a cast on. Do you see? See the little loop there? I'm going to grab the camera again to see if I can. And now you see how it's looped there. And again, you can continue to do the E-wrap. It'll give you a very looser stitch than the U-wrap. The U-wrap I like to use because it is a little tighter, so there's less space between the stitches. That is one of my preferred stitches and wraps that I use. There's also the straight one. So the U-wrap, if you want to know the U-wrap, you take it in front and just put it halfway. See that? And see how I'm holding it there? And then you just hold it and then you pull it over like that. I'll do it again. Take it, put it halfway over like that. Just hold it and then pull it over. Okay? So I'm going to continue to do this. There we go. I'll just continue to do this. This is the first row. I'm not going to show you the pearl wrap today. We can do that another day. And again, just half, and then bring it over. See that? Okay, I'll just finish it off here. Just like that. Just take your time when you're doing this. There's no rush when you're knitting. Let me see if I can put this in a better position so you can see what I'm doing without my big old hand getting in the way. I'm going to have to get a different setup if I'll be doing these types of videos. Looking over the camera and wrapping. I'll get a better camera so it's not so fuzzy when I'm doing a close-up. And now you've completed your first row. Do you see in there now? Let me pull the camera so you can see. Let's see if I can get it. Now, do you see that? I don't know if I can show you, but try to get a close-up there. Okay. So now we're just going to do that, continue that wrap. Now I've done row 1, so we're just going to continue that wrap. I'm going to do, maybe 16 rows, maybe 10 rows, just depends on the size. This is a smaller guy, so I'm going to put this on pause, and then I'm going to start it again. Once I've done my 16 rows, you can, like I say, choose how many you want to make it, because in the end you're going to stuff it, and then you're going to do a little bit of threading just to get the shape of what a pumpkin looks like. So I will be back, and you continue on your project, and when you're ready we'll go to the next step once I've done my rows on this loom. Okay, so we're back. I wanted to let you know before you finished off all your rows. I've done about 4 rows. Do you see that? See how that's coming in there? Make sure you take this end off, because as you're making the rows, it's getting bigger and bigger, and it'll start to pull on this end, and it'll stretch. So you just simply take it off. You know, you just take your tool, take it off. You can put it to the side. What I do sometimes is I take it from the inside and just I push it under here and grab it. You can see it under there, right there. You see, and I just pull it through. So it's out of the way. So now that's underneath, out of the way. And just continue to do your wrapping. Okay. I can probably show you a couple rows as I'm doing this. Like I was showing you before. I'll do that. I'll pull this over. Sorry, I keep putting my big thumb in the way. My hands get in the way. So once again, just half a wrap. Take it and wrap it over. And just give it a little bit of a pull. And I'm holding the thread in between my index and my middle finger just to give it a little snugness. Not too tight. Or you could just see how I did that. See? I'm going to get a better setup. I do think it's necessary to show you more clearly how to do this. Okay, and continue your wraps or your E-wrap, whichever one you prefer. A straight wrap is a little different from the U. You go straight across. You see that? And then you just pull it over, pull it over, pull it over, pull it over. So that's a real tight wrap. So we're going to continue on this project. I will be back after I have finished my rows. So I'm back again. I just wanted to kind of show you where I'm at. I'm about halfway done. Do you see all the knit in there? Let me see if you can... It's hard to show you on this camera, but do you see the knit? There. Do you see all that in there? Tells you, do you see that? That's your knits. This is the bottom where we first started with the cast on. And we'll just simply sew that up. And close it out. There's an easy way to do that. That's what it looks on the inside. If you get a chunk of yarn that's sewn together, you might get that in one of your reams of yarn. Don't worry about it. It can be just pushed into the back and it's on the inside, so you're not going to need to worry about that. So I just wanted to show you that. We're coming along. And just remember to keep pulling your yarn so you've got a little loose. And you can do that. All right, I'll get back.